Okay, so these are hosta plants. Walking around here, you see them holes. I guess those are slugs that eat them. And here are the milkweed plants, and there's a perfect example of a monarch butterfly getting nectar from the plant, from the flowers. I have some Hipea plants here, vermillionaire planted, and there's another hot lip salvia. That's a daylily called Megatron, and that's a big red one. There's mostly late and very late daylilies blooming in this area, and that the bishopsweed looks pretty bad right now, and I didn't cut it back. I usually cut it back in spring, and you wouldn't see it looking this ugly, but I just didn't get to it. Do have some feeders there. The blue one is for bluebirds, and they do come to it, and also other small birds, the titmice, and the wrens, Carolina wrens. They really like that. Coming around to the deck, have a pot of Million Bells and Creeping Jenny. There's my red fountain, and I have some Tithonia, 2 of them in pots. There's another pot of zinnias and Million Bells, and there's a lantana that I got free as a gift, and another Tithonian, and that is plant my sister gave me. It almost was going to die because it was getting chewed up. It's a dahlia, Cancun, called a dahlia, and that's a basil plant right there. There's another lantana plant, and you can see how the ferns filled in here. They're sort of taken over, but there are daylilies in among here that will still bloom. I'll probably cut back some of these ferns because they're getting to look ugly, like with brown fronds and so forth. There's a begonia in the shade, and there's a New Guinea impatiens. Coming around here, you can see it's in the shade. These daylilies don't perform as well as what they could because of the root competition of these tall pine trees, but they do provide a lot of color. And here is a rockin' deep purple salvia in a pot. That little grouping there, I have some profusion zinnias, a geranium, and a salvia rhythm and blues. And there is an Augustaceae, and the little hummingbird or butterflies seem to really like that. And in here there's bee balm, and then the species daylily, Quanzo double, which is really pretty, but it's also a thug. And I have some Japanese anemones that I left grow this year in here. The foliage, you can see a pot of zinnias there, profusion zinnias. There's a pot of pentas. Here's a pot of lantana. And here's one that I hybridized. It's called Remembering Less for a friend of mine, a mentor. All along the privacy fence is pineapple sage that will start blooming in September. And a lot of these are mid-late daylilies that are blooming now. Here's a salvia that I just planted in a pot not too long ago. It's called Autumn Sage. And there's some Augustaceae, I forget the name of them right now, but Blue Fortune, that's what they are. And looking around this way, you can see up to the upper gardens and the bee balm. And there's a butterfly bush, and there's a pot of zinnias in there, tall zinnias. I'm going to turn it off now and go on to the 5th video, I believe.